Hello, my name is Ellie Johnson and this is my capstone overview. For my research type, I'm doing an applied research and I'm creating a professional development program. For the creation of my professional development program, I am going to help Cadet 2 teachers use formative assessments that are already embedded in their curriculum to guide their instruction. Formative assessments are essential for helping educators respond to students' diverse learning needs. My problem statement is teachers at my school face challenges in using the formative assessments embedded in the curriculum to inform and guide their instruction. This limits their ability to make timely, data-driven decisions that address students' immediate learning needs. One contributing factor may be the lack of professional development focused on interpreting and applying formative assessment data within the context of the newly adopted curriculum. We just adopted the curriculum last year, and a lot of formative assessments are already in the curriculum, but teachers either do not know how to use them or they don't know how to analyze the data to guide their instruction in further use. My research question is, how can professional development be created to help teachers effectively use embedded formative assessments to inform and guide their instruction? My product is creating a professional development that teaches teachers how to use the formative assessments already embedded in their curriculum to drive instruction. After all teachers completed their survey and the data was analyzed, a professional development was developed to support K-2 educators in using formative assessments to inform their instruction. This training will be delivered in 2 sessions totaling 4 hours, scheduling before the start of the academic school year, along with all the other professional learning opportunities. This will ensure that all the teachers are able to be there and participate. Following the training, monthly grade level meetings will be held to have the teachers collaborate with each other to analyze data and exchange ideas or questions. This professional development was created using Google Slides and presented via an Epson board projector in the media center. Teachers are asked to bring their own school-issued laptops for note-taking and to follow along with the presentation. The slideshow covers the significance of formative assessments, their role in instruction, and practical steps for implementation in the classroom. Throughout this session, teachers are encouraged to engage by asking questions and contributing ideas. After the training, participants will receive an email with a link to the presentation for future reference. For my methodology, it's a mixed method approach, and the teachers are doing a needs-based survey. In this survey, the teacher is going to be asked multiple choice questions and open-ended questions. This will be able to give me an outlook on how they feel overall. The survey responses were reviewed, and I was able to get responses very quickly because I could just email the survey to the teachers that responded. For my data collection and method, to analyze the quantitative data for the multiple choice survey questions, I looked at each question and the graph provided identified trends in teachers' use of formative assessments and their confidence in applying them. Each question was given a pie graph or a bar graph that I will show on later slides. For the qualitative data gathered from open-ended responses, I will read each response to identify common challenges teachers face and the support they need to use formative assessments effectively. The survey will be administered before developing the professional development program. This way I can use the data from that to create it. Quantitative and qualitative data collection and analysis will occur over 1 to 2 weeks, followed by the design of the professional development based on these findings. This approach ensures that the professional development is tailored, practical, and responsive to teachers' real-world needs and experiences. This is the first graphic representation. These are pictures of the survey that I gave the teachers given on Google Forms. It was very easy for me to copy the link and email it to each teacher for them to fill out. And it was anonymous for each participant. This is a graphic representation of the multiple choice questions that I asked. Number 1, I said, how often do you use formative assessments during a typical week? As you can see, 50% of the teachers said 2 to 3 times per week. 37.5% of them said they'd use it on a daily basis, and only 12.5% said once a week. So this showed me all the teachers use them a good amount of time. The next question, I said, what type of formative assessments do you most often use? Select all that apply. The most common answer was observations, and the next 2 were Turner Talks and the curriculum embedded checks for understanding. This showed me that the teachers do use formative assessments in their classroom, but they might struggle to analyze that data. I said, how confident are you interpreting results of formative assessments? 25% said they're somewhat confident, so we want that number to be 100% of them are very confident. How often do you adjust your instruction based on formative results? 62.5% said sometimes, and 37.5% said frequently, almost every day. So we want that number to be higher, that you want almost all of them to be doing it frequently. Do you feel that current curriculum provides enough guidance on using formative assessments? Only 25% said yes, 50% said somewhat, and 25% said no. For my next graphic representation, I have my first open-ended question. It says, what challenges do you face when using formative assessments to guide your instruction? A lot of people talked about that timing is the biggest thing, and that they feel pressured to stick with the curriculum pacing, and this makes them want to have more time to go back and reteach things, whether that's in small groups or whole group. And especially for K-2 teachers that teach all 4 subjects, it's a lot to be able to fit everything in. The next open-ended question was, what kind of support or training would help you feel more confident in using formative assessments? Some teachers said they want classroom support, they want to know how to differentiate the learning for their students, or they want time to have small groups so that they can reteach, and they want to be able to collaborate with their fellow teachers to help them. The next open-ended question was, describe a time when formative assessments helped you adjust your teaching. What was the result? They mostly said that students either did something right or did something wrong, and then that showed them that they needed extra support, and they were able to teach something and then give the assessment again, and the students did better on it. The next open-ended question was, what would make formative assessments feel more manageable in daily routine? Was that they want observations to be valued as much as standardized testing. And thinking back to the graphic, you could see that all the teachers use observations in their classrooms as a use of formative assessments. And they want more time, they want them to be quicker, having them built in the curriculum, and making it more manageable for them. For results and conclusions, the study indicated that professional development should be collaborative, respectful of teachers' time, and aligned with practical demands of daily classroom instruction. It should provide teachers with actionable strategies for effectively using formative assessment data to improve instruction and support student learning. A total of 8 K-2 teachers completed the survey, which gathered both quantitative and qualitative data through a combination of multiple choice and open-ended questions. Some strengths and weaknesses with the methodology. One strength of it was the use of Google Forms for the data collection. It was really easy for me to use and to customize it to fit my research needs, and it was easy to give the survey to the teachers via email. It also provided the graphs for me for each question and gave me the results very quickly of each person. Another strength was the participation from my school. I got quick approval from my administrator and had full participation of all 8 K-2 teachers. The process ran smoothly and provided useful insights into formative assessment practices. However, one weakness was the small sample size. Since I only had 8 teachers, the data collection was limited and not fully represent broader teacher experiences. Another weakness was the timing of the survey. I'm on summer break right now, so I could only get certain amount of teachers to participate, and the teachers may have been less engaged or struggled to recall specific classroom practices because it is summer and they're not fully in the mindset of daily instructional practices, and that could affect the depth and accuracy of their responses. For influential factors, several factors may have influenced the outcomes of this study. Data collection occurred during all of summer break, like I said, and a time when participants were not actively engaged in their daily instruction. This could make their motivation. This could make them lack motivation in providing detailed responses, and it could be hard for them to recall specific classroom practices. Also, all participants were from the same school, which could have resulted in shared viewpoints and had led to uniformity in responses across the survey. While these factors were outside of my control, they may have affected the overall depth and richness of the data collected. For further investigation, future research could build on this study by involving a larger, more diverse group of participants across multiple schools and districts to enhance the data and give a more overview of what all teachers feel, not just teachers from my school. I think it would also help to get data from classroom observations, teacher interviews, and student data, because there was no student data used in this research. It could offer a more comprehensive view of how formative assessment practices influence teaching and learning. Also, you could do a more long study that could be valuable in examining long-term effects of professional development to see if it really helps teachers in their instruction and in their student outcomes. There will still be unanswered questions about the most effective ways to address challenges such as limited instructional time and the demands of curriculum pacing, which often hinders teachers' ability to implement formative assessments effectively. Teachers have a lot on their plate, and especially when they teach all 4 subjects, it's really hard to fit everything in, including formative assessments. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Again, this is by Ellie Johnson.